Victoria, do you know if Alpha's coming?
Well, he should be. Jonathan, has it that he's leading it. And he said he was leading, he did say he was going to lead the next one. So even if he isn't, I know that the guys here will know how to do, will know what to do to make value out of it. So I'm going to go back because I'm still taking care of him, getting him electrolytes and rice and stuff like that. He's not sick very often, so, it should be fine. It should be fine. If I have an update, I'll come back. Okay. Be well.
Take care of yourself, Victoria.
Yeah, take good care. Hello, Natalie. It's so good to see you.
Who's saying this? Hi.
Hi. And by the way, everyone, I'm dog sitting today again. Okay, so if there are any accidents, just laugh with me.
Okay.
Hi, Pamela.
Good to see you all.
So I missed what was going on. Is Jonathan sick?
Yeah. He's poorly.
So this is hosted by Jonathan's chair.
Yeah.
Well,
Chair of the
Victoria very kindly set us up, so we've got a recording.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that he's not feeling well.
It feels like we're sitting in their beautiful lounge room.
It's true, isn't it? Yes. we get all the pleasure of their home without having to worry about the hoovering and the dusting.
That's right.
Who's going to serve the beverages?
Well, I have mine. Thank you.
Yes.
My dinner will be served in a few minutes. I think they're going to bring it over.
Well, it sounds as though you've got things very well trained there, Natalie.
They cook for me, they bring it over, yes. But I don't have any influence on the time. It's usually 7.
Hello, puppy.
It's funny. Maybe the dog, her name is Autumn, is somehow connected to Jonathan because she was vomiting yesterday as well. And so, maybe it's shared suffering globally, who knows? She looks fine today. I hope Jonathan feels better tomorrow as well.
Maybe it's a cyber virus passed by Zoom. What a beautiful dog.
Well, should we do a check-in?
Why not?
Sure.
JP is here and Victoria.
Hello, JP. Hey, Victoria.
Hello. So Jonathan is not going to be on the call, but he says if you guys have Alpha's email or cell phone and you want to text him, just in case he didn't, for some reason, see what time it was. Does anyone have his cell phone number?
I've got it somewhere. I'll see if I can send him a text.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure I've got his email. I will email him as well. Thanks.
Jonathan seems so well, Victoria, just
He's
not that
fine.
long.
He's normally fine. He just started throwing up. Could be something he ate, but we don't eat exotically, stuff that happened in the home. Who knows?
Okay.
I'm hoping this is just something passing, but
Yeah.
I'll probably not be listening because I'm going to call the doctor. He's got a pain in his stomach, so that's probably the thing to watch out for.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Give him our best, huh?
Yes, I will. I did.
Hi, JP. Good to
Yes,
see you.
amazing to see me given the late night call last night. But I didn't want to miss this. And who's the puppy today, Kath?
Same rascal as yesterday.
Okay,
Her name is Autumn.
and she's an Irish setter.
No, the Irish setter is Lola. Thanks for
Okay.
paying attention. Of all the different members of Point Fuji. And Autumn is a red fox Labrador, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
I have never met one before, so she is the
Clearly,
first for me.
clearly a kisser.
Say that again?
And clearly a kisser.
Yes. And a lover.
My
Thanks.
father has a kisser dog. The dog simply does not stop kissing everybody.
Hello,
It's
Darren.
love.
Hi, Darren.
Good to see you.
Aloha.
So text to Alpha is sent.
Thank you.
Sounds like an airport.
I think
I
it's
think we're
Victoria
listening
speaking on the phone, yes.
to the doctor, yeah.
And we probably can't mute them.
Whose Zoom is this?
Jonathan.
John,
And
Oh,
Jonathan's not well. Yeah.
No, we can't mute.
and yeah, I want to ask you how you are and kind of like kick off the check-in panel I suggested, but I'm kind of distracted.
I'll kick off the check-in if we can tune out the call in the background. I'm really well today. I feel very peaceful and well and happy. Yeah, it's a gorgeous day, and yesterday's session was just such a delight, and so warming and supportive, and yeah, so I'm still kind of traveling on the warm glow of that. So yeah, that's about all I have to say. I'm just really happy to be here. I'll pass it to Natalie.
I'm happy to be here. I didn't plan really. I thought today all of a sudden I need earth regenerators, so I'll just join whatever group I can join, because I feel myself getting impatient with the projects we're trying to get started here, and nothing seems to move and whatever, and I just need to talk to other people. And I'll pass it on to Pamela.
Yeah, projects, speaking of which, that was a very, very powerful, very moving experience yesterday in the project incubator. And for context, Natalie, in case you don't know, Andy and Kath co-presented themselves as a part of stage one of a two-part process where projects will be presented later. But last night we were talking about, well, what was last night for me? We're talking about needs, and it was very powerful and very very, felt very special to be able to be in that room. So I'm going to pass it on to, it was a real gift actually that they presented to us. Darren, please.
Aloha, I'm Darren. I may not have met you, Natalie, and I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii. My short version is I'm working on curing honeybees. So I'm getting a little bit of help, and I have a few applications that I'm working on. One is for Y Combinator that is due soon, so I'm working on that. And I'm plugging along and eating pizza. I'll pass it on to Mitty.
Well, pass the pizza, Darren. I'm hungry. Great, I'll have some. I am I'm really well. I've just committed a complete nonsense by posting a message to someone in another Telegram chat. And unusually for me, instead of saying, oh my God, what a failure I am, I just thought, well, this is really funny and probably it's the best mistake possible. But I'm really pleased that I don't automatically go into kick myself failure mode. Yeah, so I'll be really interested now to see what comes of the mistake. I'm going to pass to Gail. Gail, how are you and how's your daughter?
Yeah, it's been a rough week, but things are better. Very long story short, we got some cooperation from our neighbors that we needed that made her feel better. So she was actually in a pretty deep depression and she seems to be out of that. We also ordered a very expensive, high-powered, ultra special air filter that just arrived today. We just literally carried it up the stairs. She's going to put it in her bedroom, and the hope is it'll clean it well enough so she can go back to living in her room and we could go back to sleeping in our room because we've been sleeping in the living room for more than a week now. So things have been hard here, but hopefully we've turned a corner. So thank you. And I don't know if, has everyone gone or is there anyone, Kath? Go ahead, Kath.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that you turned a corner. Hopefully. I don't know if that helps or not, but we're sleeping in the living room as well. And so we're living room sleeping buddies. I have so many buddies these days. I'm also arriving with a peaceful solstice radiance feeling, I guess, after yesterday. And it was a beautiful space, which I will cherish for forever. Autumn and I went for a walk this morning, which was beautiful. We went to the waterfall and I asked the waters to bless us all. We have a horrendous amount of rain here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and all I wish is to distribute the rain to everywhere else in the world. But that's not how it works, right? But you know, I can speak to it and wish for it, and maybe that does something with the water. It's kind of funny that Alpha and Jonathan aren't here today, or sort of, but not really. And also that, hello Inge! I just wanted to say also that Natalie is here where Inge was with us last night or yesterday. It's a beautiful circle of relationships. That's me. back to whomever.
I think it's me. I'm left.
Oh yes,
Uh,
JP.
Oolong tea. That's the main part of my check-in because I'm barely awake. Because yeah, and I want to know what everyone's drinking. Okay, so this is organic oolong. What else have we got?
Water, always water.
What is that, Natalie? You're muted. It looks delicious.
Potatoes.
Okay.
Coffee.
I'm organic Earl Grey.
I bought an espresso a couple of days ago. It's been in my refrigerator. And now I put a couple of cubes in there. It's very good.
We know Darren's having pizza.
What are you drinking with your pizza, Darren?
He said Zoda.
Soda.
He has a sweet tooth from birth. Well, you take care of honeybees for a reason, Darren. I'm drinking honey ginger lemon to keep me warm.
Yeah, we're quite contrasting in our above and below the equator outfits, aren't we? Yes.
I'm on the equator. I'm also wearing something. I'm right on it.
Is it chilly where you are? No.
In the evenings, yes.
Ah.
It's dry season and it's chillier. And we're at the coast. I think that makes a difference.
West Coast, right? You guys are on the West Coast?
I'm in Ecuador. Yeah, that's west.
West. Oh, right.
Yes.
That's right. Not Costa Rica, Ecuador. Right.
Ecuador. Yeah, we only have one coast.
So what do we want to do with our precious time together? Because it really doesn't sound like we're going to get Victoria back, or at least not anytime soon.
I just have a question. Was I wrong? I thought we were doing a thing with Max tonight. Is that happening somewhere else at another time? No?
Hadn't heard of that, Gail.
Okay, I might be confusing it with another meeting. I go to so many meetings. So never mind.
This is
This was your opportunity, Andy and Kath, to compliment last night.
Could someone
Yes,
let
that
me
was-
know what happened last night? Because I wasn't able to come and I'm sorry I missed it. Could you just do a little recap about it?
Oh, that's hard.
Well, maybe Andy and Kath can speak to that.
You want to go, Kath, or shall I? Okay. So Gail, we went for a sort of an upside down approach to the incubator yesterday, where we, Kath and I, both decided we'd like to speak to our immediate needs and our immediate sort of rather urgent situations, and brought that to the table and sort of said, we'll just speak to our projects later. And it was a beautiful session. It felt really supportive, and I'm really grateful for everyone who was there, and which is a lot of the people here today. And yeah, it was so lovely. I felt really supported just to be able to kind of talk to, my story and the situation, and yeah, I left with such a feeling of solidarity, and I believe I had a pretty, quite a cry toward the end of the session, and it was really lovely to be able to be vulnerable with everyone. So yeah, and then we Kath and I had a plan to bridge these two sessions, the incubator and the gift circle, and reverse the order here as well to speak to what we can give, first and foremost, and, needs later. So, but I think it was, I'm not sure that it really got sort of cemented in place or whatever. I don't know, that's the wrong way to phrase it, but in the sort of the back and forth with Jonathan and Alpha, and so yeah, I mean, here we are, just kind of like willing to do anything, but if people would like to go ahead with that as a plan, then that'd be lovely. Is that enough context? Does anyone want to add anything more to that?
It strikes me as a perfect opportunity for you to sort of complete the journey that you started yesterday. Really look forward to participating in how that unfolds.
Yeah, I wonder, Andy, thank you for, I guess, laying the groundwork here. Since Natalie and Gail, you weren't with us last night, I wonder how this lands with you. I guess the invitation Andy and I are holding, that we speak to what we can give. And you both don't have the context, and you might had a different expectation of the space today, and I just want to check in with both of you if that is okay.
Perfect.
For me.
I had the totally wrong expectation. I thought it was about Max tonight. So there you go. So I'm happy to have it be about you too. That's fine.
Natalie, are
Nice.
you good as well? Thank you, Gail. Yeah. And I want to know what's happening with Max and where it is happening. Maybe, we can squeeze in that update.
I think it might be the next. I confused the gift circle with the Right Livelihood meeting. I think it's maybe the next Right Livelihood meeting, because they did a focus on me at the last one, and then we talked about doing Max next time. So I think that's where I got confused.
And I'm a little confused. When is the gift circle and when is the Right Livelihood? Are they every 2 weeks or?
Once a month, I think. Right? Each one. Yeah.
I think this is a gift circle.
Yeah.
No, this is the giving circle.
Giving circle. Using the wrong word. Sorry. It's late. I'm tired.
And I think they're looking at doing it every week, actually. Yeah, that was my understanding, but maybe that's wrong.
I think they're still figuring that out. Yeah.
Kath, would you like to go first? I want to let you go first today.
That's really sweet of you, Andy. I guess before we dive in, I feel like I would like to ask if someone could facilitate the space today. Or I always feel more comfortable when there is a facilitator, and because I'm holding some, I don't know what it is yet 100%, but I'm holding something that, that intention of kind of like holding the field, because there is no facilitator, and then I usually forget things and I don't have the capacity to do both. And I know no one expects it of me, but somehow it is in me. And would that be okay?
I'm happy to facilitate, Kath, if that makes you freer to share fully whatever you would like to share, if that's okay with others.
Thank you, Meady.
So, Kath, the floor is yours. Actually, should we just take a moment or two to just ground ourselves?
Thank
you. Okay, well, so let's just focus on our breath, our breathing, and closing our eyes if we feel a need, lowering our gaze, softening our gaze, and just notice our breath. and the feelings in our body at this moment. Are we feeling tense? Are we feeling relaxed? Are we feeling connected to Gaia and the earth beneath our feet? However we are, Gaia bids us welcome and bids Kath and Andy welcome to receive their gifts. And when you're ready, just open eyes and come back into the room. Are you ready, Kath? Do you need anything else before we begin?
Thank you, Miri. I want to open a document real quickly for me to not forget anything, because it might get overwhelmed in my head at one point, and so I need a bit of a red thread. One moment. I think it's not going to be, the doc is not opening, so I take that as a sign. I will trust to find all the answers. I want to share with you all the gifts in my heart. Okay, we can do that, right? Yes. It's really difficult for me to start because there's a lot I can see that all weaves together somehow, and it all goes through me, and I guess it is the part where complexity comes in, and I hope I can convey whatever I'm holding as gifts for us regenerators as simple as possible. And so bear with me. I think the first thing I want to name is I can see myself in, I guess, many different roles across the community, and all these projects that my heart wants to steward, I cannot bring forth by myself. And so I guess I'm crossing back to yesterday a bit, where I didn't speak explicitly about needs, but one of the needs for all these projects and all these roles I'm naming today, is all your wisdom and your support and your solidarity and your hearts essentially, and in how we learned in book club. And I guess one need I'm holding there is to ask you all to be in radical tenderness with me. And whenever Cass is going, I don't know where, I actually don't know, and you don't know where she wants to go, to tell me and ask questions, to either bring me back to a 0 point I might need, or to come along and experiment and play with me. Yeah, thank you. I needed to say that.
Would you like a card now, Kath?
Yes,
A radical
thank
sensing
you.
card.
I go to the left.
Disarm, declutter, and de-center yourself.
Thank you, Mary. That's the most beautiful prompt. I try. In an attempt to declutter, I think I will name four different, I guess, stewardship roles I would love to step in for the community. And maybe that's also my attempt to decenter. So let's see how that goes. And while I'm speaking, I'm being bitten. So please excuse my distraction and moving around here. I might need to stop talking in between when it gets too much. I'll let you know. The first role or stewardship I want to give to the community is the stewardship of the Vivero Community Project that was born with Rachel in the EA Fund Governance Group, and I think the Spirit of the Gifts group, kind of an emergence out of two groups, I suppose. And I don't know how much you all know about the Vivero Community Project. It originated with Rachel when she was in Barichara as a community engagement and fundraising tool. I might use some words that don't sit well with everyone, but that is the best I can do right now to explain. And there was a beautiful weaving happening with Todd Youngblood, who started to develop an app that is a community engagement tool. And I see a huge potential in the project, and at the same time, I acknowledge that Rachel is moving countries and on a very, very important journey for her own well-being. And I feel even though she doesn't know all the insights that I'm holding, because it's, I guess at the moment, just me, I feel somehow her trust in me to keep Vivero alive and truly bring it into existence in the community. And it's relatively new for me, all of that, but I feel that is the most immediate, one of the most immediate projects I truly want to step into stewardship for. I see a potential, and that weaves probably a bit into another offering, I suppose. I see a potential in the Vivero community, or with the Vivero Community Project, to truly bring forth an Earth Regenerator Fellowship program where, yeah, members who step into fellowship, who are nominated to become a fellow and go through whatever process we put in place, become fellows, to be supported through the Vivero Community Project. Those are beautifully linked for me, and I don't want to go too much into details of all the things I see, but there's a connection I see, and I wanna name that. Yeah, I also feel that both adjacent possibilities. Thank you for that from yesterday, Andy. I feel both adjacent possibilities are here right now. They can be manifested within the next weeks. And yeah, it's so very alive in me, and I don't know, I think I want to get my fingers just dirty and, you know, get into the soil. So that's that part. Another, I guess, two streams that are also very alive in me are the Trust and Prosperity Explorers Group. I know there's a reason why I have not written down the narrative for the source idea yet, even though we came together, or many of us came together so many weeks back, Kronos time, to experiment with trust and prosperity. And I just need to trust in Kairos time that it evolves. What I see in this, what this group in particular can offer is learning journeys into trust and also into prosperity, for us to explore in relationship and togetherness. What is most alive there for me is a syntropic learning journey where I want to bring to the community everything that I have learned in the syntropic world during my masterclass and the synergistic audit, synergistic accounting workshop. Because I believe in my heart it is a way to explore, to go forward and truly understand what it means to build relationships and projects, businesses, communities that are following the laws of nature. I got a taste of it. I experienced a lot that I have learned already, and I have this huge urge to share this with as many people as possible. It's, yeah, that's kind of the part of midwifing this new world, right? This world that we all hold in our heart. I don't know if it works out. I have no idea, but I'm so eager to try it. Everything that I have tried during the class and also during the workshop that finished this week resonates deeply, so deeply with my whole being, where I feel in this world that, in this syntropic world, I guess, and the tools I have learned make it possible that we don't need roads anymore, that we don't need, I don't know, some people talk about archetypes and all these things anymore, that we can truly show up as our whole self and don't have to squeeze ourselves in a certain box in order to have structure. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's from what I have learned, an entirely new way of being and relating with each other. And what I have experienced over the past, let's say, 2 months in the Centropic World community is harmony, is a shared understanding, a shared deep trust, and seeing each other as whole beings and harmony. And yeah, I'm so eager to learn how this could feel for us. Yeah, and so in a way it is experimenting with the new world while hospicing modernity and the separations that comes. And it's, yeah, this all couldn't have arrived at a better point in my life, to be honest. Reading Hospicing Modernity, understanding all the all the traps, conscious and unconscious traps that are there, and then seeing on the other side so many beautiful answers that resonate deeply with me. So yeah, that's the learning journey. Yeah, and the last gift, I guess, I'm holding is around the community assembly or community council, or whatever this baby wants to be called. And yeah, I guess the journeys we can take there, yeah, on that kind of like exploration thread, if we want to call it that way. On that journey, I'm deeply, deeply inspired by the 6 Conversation series. Midi, Pamela, Darren went on with Trisha and Iris and everyone else in Costa Rica. I believe if there is such a thing as an assembly, it starts with an invitation. And everything, I guess, that I have witnessed and experienced asynchronous on that journey you went on also deeply, deeply resonates with me. I feel the 6 conversations are crucial for any community. And yeah. And so these are kind of like, I guess, the areas and sort of like the tiny visions I see. I want to give my energy and my gifts to be even more in relationship with one another. I don't even know what that means. But there's something, I feel there's something really palpable here, which we can truly, excuse me, thank you, build on, to be able to, I don't know, I guess what I'm longing for is a flow, is a collective flow in higher frequency that, I don't know, has, what is it, has resonance as a guide, I guess. And yeah, allow for that emergence in our relationality. And so, yeah, the learning journey, maybe I close here. The learning journey and the Vivero community project are 2 projects I want to step into as steward leader. I want to lead these projects with whatever support I can get. For what were the other two things? The other part where I hold so much energy for is I want to be a co-steward. I don't want to be the steward leader, but I would like to be on the steward team. To maybe name that. With all of that, said with all of that, I guess it's a wish I'm holding. It's not a need. I guess no. Yeah, it's a wish I'm holding. Whatever we make out of it. I would really, really wish to be nominated to become a fellow in Earth Regenerators. That is, I don't want to say it's a need because it's a wish I'm holding, and I can't nominate myself, and so I'm naming it. I see some beautiful faces here who I would love to nominate as fellows as well, I must say, but I wanted to put my ask first. I don't know how much sense that all made. I didn't need my Google Doc, which is good, but that's all I have for now. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kath. So what would you like by way of feedback in this moment?
I'm sorry, I also listened to Victoria. Thank you, Midi. I would like to receive reflections, as in everything I shared. Yeah, what resonated with you in everything I shared, and where you might see yourself supporting me with and in. If that is available, I would love to hear that. There was something else. Let me see if that is still alive. It's gone. So we go with this. Thank you, Lady.
Great. So who has some reflections to offer? JP.
Actually, my first reflection is a question. And it's a question about time and capacity. That is a lot, Kath. I didn't hear you really talk about the harvesting that you do, which I know also takes a very significant amount of time, because you watch those meetings and distill from them. It's an extraordinary service to the community. I didn't even hear that one. And then all of these others. So it's just, my question to you is, what do you feel is your realistic capacity with regard to all of these things? And if you had to chunk it down to like one or two, which would you choose?
I love your question, JP. Thank you. And also that you surfaced or brought into the space, I guess, all the gifts I'm holding already, right? And sharing with the community. So thank you for that recognition. Yeah. I have the capacity to, well, this is what I do at the moment, and I'm committed to continue with what I do at the moment. I'm basically working 70 hours a week. I'm working 7 days a week, about 10 to 12 hours, which feels good to me. I don't do that when I'm in my moon time week. And so I work on a different schedule, I guess, or different rhythms than we know from, I guess, modernity, right? So I work for, yeah, basically whenever I'm not on my moon time, which is like probably 25 days a month at the moment. I work 70 hours a week, and then I go into my moon time cave and go inwards for, yeah, about 5 to 6 days. And I have started that probably half a year ago, and it is the most replenishing and rewarding rhythm I have ever been in. Yeah, it's truly, it truly starts to become a real rhythm and a real cycle where I learn to tune in and give my energy accordingly. And so those 70 hours are probably, I would say, 80% Earth Regenerators and 10% Samara Trust. And then another, I guess, 5 to 10% the Syntropic World community, which is still, yeah, it's a very new community for me, but I see so much alignment there. And I guess that makes it a bit easier because everything, yeah, even though I decluttered everything I presented and spoke to today, they are actually all interwoven and a very complex, I guess, living system in of itself, which I radiate or manifest, or which comes through me. Having said all that, I also have learned to, I guess, tune more into Kairos time in terms of, for instance, in the project incubator, right? I don't do the harvest weekly anymore just for the sake of doing the harvest on a weekly basis. Yes, I need to be better with just sharing the recordings. And I want you all to hold me accountable for that. But it feels more aligned and more attuned, harvesting the recordings when the thread is alive, when there is some emergence happening, as now with between me and Andy. And this is how, I guess, where there's meaning behind it, and the energy is not wasted energy, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to not always follow Chronos time, but yeah, at the same time, I want to honor transparency, and as you said, JP, last week, I think it was, it's no good when the honey is invisible, or the artifacts or the learning is invisible, and this is how I feel at the moment. But yeah, I guess I have those 70 hours a week for 25 days a month, and in that it emerges, I suppose. Is that helpful?
I'm just checking that you have reserves for all of that you're, I just
Yeah.
wanted, that's just a reality check.
Thank you.
Because you have tons of enthusiasm and lots of energy, as we know, and lots of interest. So It's like, what if we started another thing? Oh my God. There's a point at which it's diminishing returns on time and energy. And there are only 24 hours in a day, at least until we all get time turners, Harry Potter time turners.
I hear
So it's-
you. Thank you.
yeah.
And I appreciate your care. Yes. Thank you, JP.
Stated. I want to give time to Pamela and Gail, but I also want to do a reality check here because we're coming up to the hour, and the anticipation was that Andy would also share his gifts. So Andy, how are you fixed at the moment? Would you like to have a half hour, in which case we've just got a few minutes now to share reflections? Where are you?
I think I could probably be fairly succinct, and I'd just like to, I feel it's important to finish this discussion with Kath. I think there's possibly quite a lot of emergence here, and I want that to happen. So come back to me when, I'm willing to wait.
Okay, thanks, Andy. That's gracious. Pamela, you put your hand down, but you were first in line.
Yeah, I was just going to appreciate what you're proposing, together with your ask, as well as what it is that you're offering, as well as what it is you are already giving. And I don't know what the process is for fellowships. Does someone have to nominate somebody else? No rules?
It's not defined yet.
Okay, but you do give so much, Kath, and what you're offering to do too with carrying on the Vivero, and I know that Rachel is ready to leave that one behind, etc. So I really appreciate what it is that you are offering and what you already present as your gifts, and I certainly feel that your ask is small in consideration of that.
Thanks, Pamela. Gail?
Yeah, I'll just be quick. I agree with Pam. I was going to say the same thing, that if anyone's deserving of a fellowship, it'd be you. Yeah, the details do need to be worked out on how that's going to work. And of course, the money has to be raised as well. But I also want to ask about Planet Hive. You didn't even mention Planet Hive in your percents. You'd be going over 100% if you added Planet Hive. So that's my only question.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, Gail. Planet Hive is right in the middle of it all, even though I might not name it explicitly, because I feel it probably would have cluttered it all up again. But the Syntropic learning journey I want to bring into the community will be centered, at least for me, around Planet Hive. How I can, everything I have learned in the last 2 months, or it's more, in the last 3 months, kind of like theoretically and put into the system, take it out and apply it in practice-led learning, I guess, in that learning journey for Planet Hive. I want Planet Hive to be a Syntropic enterprise, probably, I guess, the first in Earth Regenerators. And my idea is to invite other people into the space and learn and practice alongside with me on their very own projects. And so it's very weaving and all very intertwined. But yes, thank you for acknowledging my baby.
So if I could just make one or two reflections, as part of the small working group that meets weekly for the Vivero project, I can personally say that I'm elated to hear that you're proposing yourself as steward to the project. I think it's both. First of all, I don't think Vivero will get off the ground in practical terms without strong stewardship. And I've talked with you enough, listened to you enough, listened to Rachel, Jonathan, and Todd enough to sense that in every possible way, you're a match for the steward role. I think there is a process to go through, and I think it needs to come back through the ER fund group, probably, because that's how and where the initiative was brought. And I'm excited about that, Kath. The question of a fellowship is, again, I can only echo what others are saying here. And again, say it's outside the scope of this group, but it needs much further dialogue. And I'm really glad you've named it and surfaced it and brought it up front. I think that can only help the process of, since we've just defined that we need a fellowship anchor role. So something has to happen, and that sitting here now, I've no idea what, but I'm sure it will emerge now as the need. And I feel particularly with JP in the room, it's going to be furthered, because JP is the person that I've heard again and again speaking to a very clear sense of how and what a fellowship in ER needs to be. So there's a conversation going on in the subgroup that has been holding the process with Benji. So kind of watch this space. For the other things, at some level, you don't need permission from anybody to do these things. You can, you can create a carrying the conversation sandbox tomorrow. And at the same time, I think personally, and from the point of view of the well-being of ER, some thought needs to be given to how and where and when this can phase in with what is already going on, because hearing JP, it's a question for the community, how much can we take? And there are other things that are in motion, like the deep dive for Joe's book, and the Core Design Principles learning journey. Will it start in September, won't it? Who's going to hold that? And so I think there's a lot of weaving to be done, but I just want to commend you for really powerfully, strongly standing for what you can give and weaving with it what you need. And actually needs and gifts are so interwoven. I think you've been a beautiful model for us here. So is there anything more that you need at this stage before we move on to Andy?
Other than, I guess, a minute to say thank you, and yeah, how much gratitude I feel for each and every one of you, your questions, your gifts, your reflections, and your willingness to be here with me in solidarity is probably the biggest gift. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Anything else from anybody else, or shall we move on to offer the space and the floor to Andy? Okay, Andy, the ship is all yours to steer where you will.
Well, first off, I'd like to keep the ship exactly where it is and say my response to Kath. Kath, I respect you so much, and your strength, is so impressive, and I just trust your intelligence that I just want to offer you support wherever you want to go. Like, I mean tangible support. Like, just call on me if you sense that I could help. Do you know what I mean? I think you probably got a reasonable sense of me now and what I could possibly help with. So I would just trust you to sort of see into that. But I just want you to know that I'm available for you, like, because I think you bring so much to this community, and it's and just supporting that would be in some way, or in many different ways, if you like, over time. That's all I can think to offer, but maybe it's a fair bit as well. So yeah, I wanted to say that. Okay, turning over to me. In a way, this isn't what I have to offer the community, I think, and maybe isn't terribly complicated. It has complexity and simplicity at the same time. What at the moment, I'm really enjoying having sort of all these group calls, but then having one-on-one calls with people, and just supporting anyone who feels that they, could gain something from what I do. And I suppose what I do is, and I'm gaining more confidence in it daily. I think I'm really enjoying being some sort of roving, supporter for anyone who feels, called to bring their capacities forth, and really sort of become generative in their own, projects and contributions, and however they see it manifesting. And I guess what I realize that I can provide for that is I do have a pretty strong capacity to hold complexity over time, and in a sort of a spatial kind of imaginative realm where it can be brought into cohesion and played with and made right for creativity and all those sorts of things that are sort of necessary for bringing forth a really true response to who you are and what you would like to do for this world. Seeing as you're here in the the ER community, knowing what you know about the world, that just gives me so much of a platform to begin with, just in itself, anyone in this community. So yeah, and I think I like everyone has seen, I feel like people have seen me in such a beautiful way. I feel really, seen that. Like, I feel I have the capacity to do that. Like just the other day, I began a conversation with Lisa, who didn't make it today, but I'm looking forward to working with her. I think she's quite impressive in what she's carrying, and I'd like to continue that. And just in that spirit, I think obviously I don't have massive amounts of time and like spare kind of energy and time to sort of just do this randomly. But so I guess there's always going to need to be some sort of exchange there. But I'm really happy for that to just play out however it plays and be creative within that too. And I'm just willing to experiment basically, and organize that experiment into a productive flow. So yeah, it's a fairly kind of open invitation to the community, I suppose. I will, as we sort of set up yesterday, I think I'll just start feeding the project incubator chat with materials on what I do, and the project that I have. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to offer is that for anyone who sees, who is sort of not sure about how their thing, their sort of vision of their own potential fits with the vision that Joe's put forth, and which reached such a beautiful point in this last learning journey of clarity. I mean, I can see quite clearly how my, regenerative project fits into that. And not sort of some sort of tight, sort of easy, kind of like, fit, but just how it sort of dovetails, or could, like just the potential there. So I want to offer as well to anyone who's sort of unsure about how their kind of things fits with this vision that's being sort of generated within the community, and especially by Joe. I think I could probably connect those dots too, it sounds pretty audacious, I suppose, but I feel like I have enough process around the way I think, and the way, I've learned to, I've been mentored to think by, people, as I have kind of laid out in a few of these sessions with you, people like Dan Palmer, and I'm now getting really interested in Buckminster Fuller along with Kath. And, I think I have enough now to be able to make those connections. So if anyone wants to grab hold of that as a bit of a project and makes, do some sense making and connections and that sort of thing, I'd like to offer that. Actually, having mentioned Dan in that last sentence, I don't know if people remember me talking about Dan from my introduction to We Are Humans project, but he was a mentor of mine, and he developed this living design process thing that I follow and practice and am trying to evolve. But yeah, Dan died 2 weeks ago, or I think to this day or yesterday, and his passing was really sad, and I quite a shock to us all, because and unfortunately he took his own life, and it was a moment that that has both kind of shocked me and grounded me and given me deep purpose and inspiration, and I want to carry that work forward. And I think I can do that within ER quite strongly. And what was I going to say? Yeah, that's probably it. I'm kind of a bit, the sadness is kind of caught up with me right now. So I can probably stop talking, and yes, it's 1:15. So yeah, I'll leave it at that for the time being, and see what reflections you all might have.
Maybe I could start them, Andy. And I'm sorry, I hadn't realized that Dan had died, and I'm really sorry for your loss and the loss of many others too who were touched by him. The question that came up for me is, how might I know if I'm the kind of person or engaged in the kind of inquiry that would make me an ideal client for Andy? What kind of things would I maybe be struggling with, asking myself, facing?
Wonderful question. I do want to say up front though that I'm both looking for clients. That's part of what I'm doing, but I'm also not. Yeah, there's both things there, you know, quite strongly. I'm not wanting to help people in order to turn them into clients. But of course, having clients is wonderful. So both things are wonderful and positive things. But what would make someone, I guess if someone is I respond with a lot of compassion to anyone feeling overwhelmed by complexity. I feel able to kind of jump in and wrestle with that great snake with people and you know, and give the snake a lot of love and harness its power. You know, because I both love complexity and respect its kind of flattening kind of effect sometimes. Yeah, so anyone feeling like they have a sense of their own regenerative potential, but are struggling with the complexity, struggling with the barriers, you know, in modernity, wondering how to weave through them, you know, if it's even possible. Maybe I'm being too general here, but I don't know what else to say other than that. I am really happy to approach it from a very, very open beginning. You know, and I guess that's what I offered to Sue Eoff when she brought her very, very open, like, realm of possibilities to the incubator space, and that's been so much fun to sort of narrow it down, and we're now on a kind of a, you know, a fantastic path together. So that's really nice, and it gave me exactly what I wanted, was a test to see if I could really do this, you know, the way I thought I possibly could. And now I'm feeling pretty confident. Maybe there's a bit of arrogance in there. But you know, why not? Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say, Mitty. Yeah, maybe that's enough.
Well, I can say that if the message I received from Sue Eoff in my message box today is anything to go by, you have every reason to feel confident. I just wanted to check one thing, because you reacted to the word client, and I wanted to check whether it was the reaction to the word, which tends to have some modernity, pejorative links and associations, and or was it more that it is your comfort in kind of what I would call, I'm looking for words that don't have pejorative, is it because you're most comfortable in a kind of peer-to-peer dialogue? I'm just curious, and you don't need to answer now, but I just noticed the reaction, and I wonder if there's any more to say about that.
Yeah, that's a really, really great question. And I would say, yes, thank you for articulating that. Actually, that's definitely part of it. I do love that sense of being peer-to-peer and being alongside someone and never wanting to, like, it's part of the approach that I'm trying to take with this, the sort of business that I'm building, is that I want to be just a guide, like someone the same as the other person, and not, and really trying to sort of shrug off that designer kind of expert, role. So I guess when I approach someone in that way and just talk, and something emerges, then if it turns into a sort of a client relationship, then we've started from that basis of peer-to-peer that you mentioned. And I just love that feeling, of just being in solidarity with a person. And I have that with Sue, and it's magic, and so, I am trying to encourage that. I guess I'm also, it's just, I'm aware of this, that there's sort of ickiness around, people kind of just being as opportunistic as they possibly can and spruiking for clients. And I mean, I know that that's not really a thing here, but it's like I think there's, I don't know, we have a sort of a collective trauma around all that stuff, so it's, I feel like I'm constantly aware of it, because here I am bringing a business, yet another business to the world, where I'm basically, commodifying something that should be part of a commons, probably. So yeah, there's that. It's a fantastic question. So yeah, I'm just navigating that day by day. Thanks, Midi.
I do have the sense that it's a collective issue, Andy, so maybe there's a conversation to be had around that.
Sure.
Anybody else want to? JP?
Yes, I have something that, has been percolating since yesterday, which is you let us in on your little nascent idea, and it has really resonated with me. The idea of a living library for the community, a place for gathering, and perhaps also having these conversations collectively, the collective sense making. And it occurred to me also that by taking the risk of creating something like that, you might very well find that your brothers and sisters are nearer by than you knew. Right? Because I know how you feel isolated out there where you are, right? And if you created that, people would come. So just wanted to put a little water on that seedling, because I thought it was so lovely, the adjacent possibility offered by your daughter, and something that you could do with her also. And it's not impossible in Australia to get support for these kinds of community initiatives financially. Unusually, that's not true in most countries. Now, we know it takes a while. Grants don't happen overnight here, but they can happen. So, and especially for something like that. So I just wanted to put a little water there. And that might also address this, how to bring your service, be supported in it, and not have to go the, shilling expertise, be a consultant, get clients route. Just a thought.
Thanks, JP. Yeah, I can see that project could has the potential to sort of to attract grants or and I know I've spent some time being a grant writer for organizations, so I can kind of I can see that too, and also that it also has possibilities for crowdfunding as well. I feel like really kind of almost really wary about, I blurted that out yesterday, and yet the idea was just so new. And this is my daughter who's 10, I haven't spoken to her about it yet. I feel so protective of her that yeah, I even feel really uncomfortable actually having people repeat that idea back to me, because I'm just not sure whether it's a good idea, because I don't know how she could possibly be quite scared off by the adultness of this whole thing. I just do not know how she, like it would land in her world, in her childhood world. So there's that. And yeah, but I think I kind of wanted to speak to that as just a sort of a way of speaking to very like newborn, nascent kind of ideas, more than I wanted to actually pursue that idea just yet. It needs a lot of care, that one. So yeah, thank you, JP. But I'll be going slow with that for sure. Kairos time on that one. Yeah, I mean, the idea of kind of like wrapping my own kind of ambitions and sort of into my child's world, like that's kind of scary. Anyway, moving on. There's something else you said there that I wanted to speak to, but it's gone now. Does anyone else have anything to say? Oh yeah, we've reached our time, haven't we?
Yes. Gail. Thanks for being here, Gail. See
Thank
you
you,
soon.
Gail.
Yes, we're coming to the half hour, and I'll be in for trouble if I'm here for too much longer over it. Although I paint this man as an ogre. He's only occasionally an ogre, and usually when I'm least expecting it. Andy, I just wanted to name what I sense and feel. First of all, yet again, I so appreciate your care and concern about your daughter, the sensitivity that you've just spoken to, not wanting to kind of lay your dreams, ambitions, ideas, thoughts on her world. And really just appreciate that. And then I have to say, I really did love the idea. So, full transparency. Is there anything more that we can offer to Andy by way of reflections or any closing thoughts?
If anyone else has anything, Pamela?
Well, I'm looking forward to the next project incubator. It'll be interesting to see this carried forward to your next step. And I just appreciate so much that you two have offered up this whole circle to the community. So thank you very much.
Kath, I think the last word is probably with you.
Thank you, Reedy. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you, everyone. I want to dedicate my last words to yeah, the sacred relationship you and are holding with Romy, with your daughter. I actually have a poem I would like to read out, if that is okay. Are you all right, Jeffrey?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. It's called Speak to Us of Children. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, Speak to us of children. And he, the prophet, said, Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And so they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backwards, not tarries with yesterday. You are the bows for which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark up in the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also that bow that is stable. From the Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Thank you all.
What a beautiful way to close. Thank you, Kath. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everybody. I've no idea whether this was how a giving circle was meant to run, but it's been absolutely beautiful as far as I'm concerned. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks for
Jonathan for the
giving me.
bandwidth as well.
Yes, blessings to Jonathan, and thank you for hosting, Midi.
Beautiful hosting.
Thank you all.
Lots of love to all, and Victoria, the carer.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.
that makes me bloat, but if it doesn't make you bloat. She didn't say that. You still want it, right? I said, she didn't say have some alcohol. Why do you think that that's not making it better? Okay, it's over.